The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not an ordinary hour. It carries a silence that is heavier than the noise of the entire day. It's the kind of silence that doesn't let you escape yourself. When the world sleeps, truth begins to whisper. The truth about who you've been, what you've ignored, and what you're becoming. This midnight doesn't arrive to scare you. It arrives to strip away what no longer belongs to you. The darkness between these two dates is not just the absence of light. It's the presence of truth. In these hours, everything you've hidden begins to surface. The pain you buried, the mistakes you avoided, the dreams you postponed. They all return to demand your attention. This is why people fear the night. It is not the dark that frightens them, but what the dark reveals. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November holds the mirror you cannot avoid. It is the time where your excuses stop working, your distractions lose power, and only your truth remains. You will feel pressure in these hours, a restlessness that seems to come from nowhere. That pressure is not punishment. It's a signal. It's life reminding you that comfort was never your purpose. Growth does not arrive wrapped in ease. It comes disguised as discomfort, chaos, and the unknown. When this midnight comes, don't run from it. Sit with it. Feel what it is trying to show you. Every storm inside you is simply asking to be understood. At the midnight of 1st and 2nd November, energy shifts. Something invisible starts moving through your awareness. You may feel heavy, emotional, even lost, but that's not the end, it's the beginning. Every transformation starts with confusion. Every rebirth begins with collapse. The energy of this midnight will not destroy you. It will only destroy what is false. It will tear apart the illusions you built to feel safe. It will take away the masks you wore to be accepted. What remains after that is pure, raw, and real. Many people will sleep through this hour, unaware that something sacred is taking place. But those who stay awake, not with their eyes, but with their awareness, they will feel it. The air will feel different. The silence will speak. You will sense that something is changing, though you can't name it. That's the power of this midnight. It doesn't give you answers, it forces you to find them inside. This hour calls for surrender. Not the weak kind of surrender that gives up, but the wise kind that lets go. You must let go of what keeps you small. The fears, the doubts, the endless need to control everything. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November teaches that control is an illusion. You don't grow by forcing life, you grow by allowing it. You don't awaken by fighting your pain, you awaken by understanding it. When you stop running from yourself, you stop losing yourself. This midnight is not meant to hurt you, it's meant to wake you. It's the universe pulling you out of your sleep. It's the line between who you were and who you're becoming. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable because transformation always demands a sacrifice. You will have to leave behind the familiar version of yourself, the one that survives but doesn't live, the one that hides behind distractions to avoid silence, the one that seeks peace but fears the path that leads to it. When the clock crosses this midnight, the energy around you will quietly test your spirit. Will you fall into the same thoughts, the same cycles, the same habits? Or will you pause, breathe, and decide that this time you will not repeat what broke you? This hour holds a rare opportunity, a reset, a rebirth, but it only happens if you are conscious enough to notice it. Use this midnight as your mirror. See your patterns clearly. See how long you've been delaying your change. See how many times you said someday, forgetting that someday doesn't exist. Only today does. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November reminds you that time is not waiting. It's moving silently like this very night, and you have to move with it or you will be left behind by your own potential. Let this be the night you stop pretending to be asleep. Let this be the night you stop choosing safety over truth, because the moment you choose awareness, the world inside you begins to align. You start to heal. You start to rise. The shadows that once scared you become guides. The pain that once broke you becomes your teacher. As the minutes pass in this sacred silence, remember, this midnight is not an ending. It's a beginning disguised as darkness. It's an invitation to return to yourself, to rise without noise, to heal without waiting, to step into the unknown with trust, not fear. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November does not belong to the world outside. It belongs to you. And what you do with it will decide how your next chapter begins. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November carries a silence that speaks louder than any voice. It's not the kind of silence that comforts you. It's the kind that exposes you in this hour. The outer world fades, and the inner world becomes loud. Everything you've avoided all month, every emotion you've buried, begins to rise to the surface. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not coming to harm you, it's coming to awaken you. It strips away your noise, your routine, your distractions, until only truth remains. And truth always comes quietly, never with noise. In this midnight, you will feel something shifting. The stillness outside mirrors the stillness your soul has been asking for. You will sense that something is about to begin, something invisible yet powerful. The energy of this midnight is not chaos, it is clarity in disguise. It comes to remind you that sometimes life must first empty you before it can fill you again. What feels like loss is not destruction, it's preparation. What feels like an ending is not punishment, it's alignment. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is a bridge. On one side lies the person you've been, tired, restless, uncertain. On the other side stands the person you're meant to become, aware, centered, alive. But the bridge doesn't carry you. You must walk across it yourself. That walk requires honesty. You must face what you've denied, the habits that keep you small, the thoughts that keep you afraid, the memories that still control your present. This midnight is your mirror. You can lie to the world, but you can't lie to silence. The world moves fast, but truth moves slow. And in this hour, everything slows down enough for you to see yourself clearly. You realize that most of your suffering was never caused by life itself. It was caused by your resistance to it. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November teaches you this lesson without words. Peace does not come from control, it comes from acceptance. The moment you stop fighting reality, you start healing. The moment you let go of what you cannot change, you begin to rise above it. This midnight asks for courage, not the loud kind that fights everything, but the quiet kind that faces itself. You will feel fear in these hours, but fear is only the shadow of your next transformation. Fear appears when your soul is ready to expand. Don't mistake it for danger, see it as a signal. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November gives you that chance to look at your fear and not run, to look at your pain and not escape. This is the kind of strength that changes your destiny. In these silent hours, everything fake begins to fall apart. The false confidence, the forced smiles, the temporary pleasures, they dissolve in the presence of truth. You realize how much energy you've wasted pretending to be fine. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November doesn't want your mask, it wants your honesty. Because growth never begins with pretending. It begins with truth. It begins when you say, I don't have it all figured out, and still decide to move forward. That's where real power begins to form. The energy of this midnight is sacred because it does not demand noise. It teaches through quiet intensity. It shows you that every ending in your life was secretly creating space for something new. The people who left, the things that fell apart, the plans that failed, they were never losses. They were lessons in disguise. This midnight is your reminder that nothing has truly left you. It has only returned you to yourself. In the stillness of the midnight of 1st and 2nd November, your awareness sharpens. You start seeing how much time you have given to distractions, how much of your strength has been scattered on things that don't matter. You begin to feel a quiet determination rise inside you, a will to change, to live with intention, to stop surviving and start living. This is the true awakening. It doesn't happen in temples or mountains. It happens in moments like this, when the night is silent and you finally hear your own soul speak. The truth is, no one else can awaken you. No book, no voice, no teaching can replace the silence of this midnight. Because real growth never happens in noise. It happens in moments of still awareness. When you stop chasing and start listening, life starts aligning with you. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is that alignment. It is a sacred reminder that you don't need to search for light, you only need to remove what blocks it. So when this midnight arrives, don't scroll, don't distract, don't run from yourself. Sit with the silence, breathe through the discomfort. Feel what you've been avoiding. Let the night break what is false inside you, because what breaks tonight is not you, it's your limitation. What ends tonight is not your story, it's your illusion. When the world sleeps, your soul wakes. And in that awakening lies everything you've been looking for. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not a date on a calendar, it's a doorway between who you were and who you are becoming. Walk through it with awareness, walk through it with courage, because after this midnight, nothing remains the same. The silence you face tonight will become the strength you carry tomorrow. The darkness you feel now will become the light that guides your path ahead. And when the night fades into morning, you will not be the same. You will be clearer, lighter, stronger, reborn through stillness. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November carries a strange kind of power. It doesn't come with thunder, and it doesn't announce its arrival. It moves quietly, but within that quietness lies an energy that changes everything. The air feels heavier, the silence feels deeper, and something inside you begins to shift. It's not the kind of night meant for sleep. It's the kind of night meant for awakening. The energy that flows during this hour doesn't ask for noise. It asks for awareness. It invites you to stop running, to stop pretending, and to finally face what has been hiding beneath your daily thoughts. This midnight holds the kind of truth that most people avoid. It brings you face to face with yourself, the real self that you hide behind schedules, goals, and endless distractions. When the clock crosses into these hours, the noise of the world fades, and suddenly you can hear the thoughts you usually silence. You begin to notice the tension in your chest, the unspoken worries in your mind, the emotions that have been waiting to be felt. This is the moment life pauses for you to see yourself without filters. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November strips away illusion, and what's left is real, raw, unedited truth. In these silent hours, you might feel uneasy. The stillness can be uncomfortable, but that's exactly what it's meant to do. Growth never comes wrapped in comfort. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not here to please you, it's here to awaken you. It challenges the parts of you that have settled for less. It shakes the version of you that hides from change. It whispers, wake up. Because deep inside, you already know you are meant for more. You already know the patterns you must break, the habits you must end, and the strength you must rise into. The energy of this midnight doesn't destroy, it purifies. It burns away what no longer serves you, all that pain you've been avoiding, all the guilt you've carried, all the moments that broke you but never healed. This is the hour they surface, not to punish you, but to free you. The only way to release your pain is to finally face it. The only way to heal is to stop hiding from what hurts. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November gives you that chance. It's a reset, a quiet confrontation between who you were and who you are meant to become. You might feel a sense of loneliness during this time, as if the world has gone silent and you are standing alone in the dark. But solitude is not emptiness, it is space. It's the space where transformation begins. When everything else is quiet, you begin to hear the voice within you, the one that has been silenced by noise, fear, and doubt. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November teaches you that true clarity doesn't come when everything is bright, it comes when everything is still. In this hour, the universe reminds you that endings are not punishments. The things that are leaving your life are not accidents. The doors that closed, the people who walked away, the plans that failed, all of them are part of the cleansing. This midnight removes what you've outgrown, even when you're not ready to let go. It's not being cruel, it's being honest. Because what is meant for you cannot enter until you release what no longer belongs. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is a teacher disguised as silence. It doesn't lecture you, it shows you. It makes you feel It allows you to witness your own patterns with clarity. You begin to see how much energy you've wasted fighting life instead of flowing with it. You see how often you've chosen to numb your feelings rather than understand them. And in that realization, something shifts. You stop resisting. You stop chasing control. You start breathing. You start allowing. This midnight teaches one of life's deepest lessons, that healing is not about forgetting. It's about transforming. What broke you was not meant to end you. It was meant to awaken you. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes the doorway to strength. The darkness that once scared you becomes the ground for light to grow. Every scar becomes a sign of evolution. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November holds this truth. Every breakdown is secretly preparing you for a breakthrough. So as this hour unfolds, let go of the urge to fix everything. Just be still, listen to the silence, let it show you what needs to end and what is waiting to begin. You will realize that nothing outside you holds the power to define you anymore. The real power is within. The ability to stay calm when everything else is shifting. The ability to remain kind when others are cold. The ability to keep faith when nothing is certain. That's the strength this midnight awakens. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November marks a moment where time feels suspended, where everything stands still, but deep inside, something moves. That movement is growth. That stillness is transformation. You may not see the change immediately, but you will feel it. The energy you release tonight will return to you as peace. The weight you let go of will become lightness. The pain you face will become wisdom. When dawn finally approaches, you will feel different. You will not be the same person who entered the night. You will carry more awareness, more clarity, and more strength. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not just a passage of time. It is a passage of soul. It's the invisible line between what was and what's becoming. And once you cross it with awareness, there is no turning back. The darkness that once surrounded you will now live behind you, and ahead will be the calm light of a self that finally woke up. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November carries a strange tension in the air, a quiet vibration that you can almost feel under your skin. It is not just another hour passing by, it's a space between two worlds, the old and the new. This midnight demands stillness but also courage. It asks you to stop escaping from yourself and to finally look at the parts of your life you've been avoiding. When the world sleeps, the truth wakes, and in that moment of deep silence, your soul begins to speak in a voice you can't ignore anymore. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not about fear, it's about revelation. The energy of this hour does not come to punish. It comes to reveal what has been hidden beneath layers of distraction. You begin to feel the weight of everything you've left unresolved. The conversations never had, the choices never made, the dreams you silenced. This is the hour when the things you buried come back, not to haunt you, but to heal you. Because healing never happens when you avoid what hurts, it happens when you face it, when you let the pain speak and finally listen. In the stillness of this midnight, the illusions start to crumble. The masks you wear to survive begin to feel heavy. The truths you've denied become louder than your excuses. It's not a comfortable feeling, but it's necessary. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November arrives as a teacher, not with gentle words, but with raw silence. It shows you that peace cannot exist in a life built on avoidance. You can't move forward carrying the weight of yesterday's lies. To grow, you must first tell yourself the truth about your fears, your failures, your patterns. Truth is not always kind, but it is always freeing. This midnight has the power to cleanse. It's the kind of cleansing that doesn't come from water or fire, but from awareness. When you become still enough to feel the energy of this night, you begin to notice how much of your suffering has been self-created. You see how long you've been trapped by your own mind, repeating the same habits, replaying the same pain. But here, in the deep silence of this hour, You are given another chance, a chance to release what no longer belongs, a chance to stop fighting what you cannot control and instead learn to flow with it. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November reminds you that life is not happening against you, it's happening for you. Every ending that hurt, every loss that broke you, every delay that frustrated you, it was preparing you. Growth doesn't always announce itself as success. It often arrives disguised as chaos. You might feel lost right now, but what if that's not confusion? What if it's transformation in progress? The energy of this midnight whispers that not all darkness is danger. Sometimes darkness is protection. Sometimes it's where your roots strengthen before you rise again. As you sit in this energy, something shifts. The things that used to control you begin to lose power. The opinions of others, the noise of the world, the fear of failure, they start to fade. What becomes louder is your inner knowing, your quiet truth. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November teaches that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's silent. It's the strength to stay still when your mind screams for escape. It's the strength to keep faith when you can't see what's next. It's the strength to trust that what's falling apart is making space for what's real. This midnight is sacred because it offers rebirth without ceremony. There are no lights, no applause, no witness, just you and the silence. That's where real transformation begins. When you stop chasing external validation and begin finding peace in your own awareness. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is that doorway. It opens only when you are willing to stop running. The more you surrender to the moment, the lighter you feel. You start realizing that you don't need to control everything. You only need to align with what's true. In the silence of this midnight, forgiveness becomes possible. Forgiveness for others, yes, but more importantly, forgiveness for yourself. You start seeing that you did the best you could with the awareness you had. You realize that every mistake was a part of your becoming. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November teaches that self-forgiveness is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's how you release the chains of the past and allow yourself to breathe again. Every breath becomes a symbol of freedom. Freedom from guilt, from regret, from self-judgment. The energy of this midnight moves like a mirror. It reflects back everything you've been avoiding, but it also shows what you are capable of becoming. It reminds you that you are not the pain you went through. You are the awareness that survived it. Every challenge was shaping your strength. Every ending was carving your wisdom. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is your opportunity to rise from the ashes of old versions of yourself. Not with anger, but with understanding. When the clock moves past this sacred hour, something inside you feels different. You won't be able to explain it, but you'll feel lighter, clearer, more connected. That's the quiet reward of facing yourself. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not the end of your darkness. It's the moment you learn how to walk through it without fear. You stop fighting the night and start learning from it. Because in truth, this midnight doesn't come to take something from you. It comes to return you to yourself. And when dawn arrives, you'll know that something deep within you shifted forever. You'll walk differently, think differently, and see differently. The weight of the past will not control you anymore. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November will have done its work, quietly, powerfully, and completely. It will have taught you what few moments ever do, that the greatest transformation happens when everything is silent and you finally choose to listen. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is not a normal night. It carries a silence that speaks louder than words, a silence that holds truth, transformation, and awakening. In this deep hour, when the noise of the world fades away, something sacred begins to unfold. The air feels different, heavier, charged with invisible energy. It's as if the universe itself pauses for a moment, waiting to see if you are awake enough to listen. This is not just the crossing of another day. It's the crossing between who you have been and who you are becoming. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November asks for one thing: awareness. It is not about doing more. It's about seeing more, seeing the patterns that have kept you trapped, seeing how much time you've spent chasing what doesn't matter, seeing the truth of what you've become while trying to please everyone else. This midnight doesn't need you to move. It needs you to stop running from yourself, to stop pretending that the pain is gone when it's only buried, to stop waiting for the perfect moment to change, because this silent, powerful hour is the perfect moment. The energy of this midnight brings a mirror, and in that mirror you are shown the cost of your distractions. You see the time lost in overthinking, the opportunities missed because of fear, the peace you traded for validation. It's not meant to shame you, it's meant to awaken you, because the truth is, life doesn't wait. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is a reminder that every second is precious. Every breath counts. You don't get these moments back, and the longer you delay your awakening, the heavier your life becomes. This night carries a strange kind of honesty. It doesn't comfort you, it challenges you. It strips away every illusion and leaves you face to face with your own reflection. Raw, unfiltered, real. It whispers that transformation is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The old version of you cannot survive in the new energy that this midnight brings. You must let it die. The fear, the guilt, the self-doubt, you must stop clinging to what no longer fits the person you are becoming. Because if you hold on to the old, you block the new. And life has no choice but to shake you until you release it. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November is when endings and beginnings coexist. It's the death of illusions and the birth of clarity. You begin to see how much of your suffering was never caused by the world but by your own resistance. You resisted letting go, you resisted change, you resisted your own potential because it scared you. But in this hour, resistance loses its strength. The silence breaks your walls. The truth enters quietly and stays. You realize that nothing outside you needs to change for your life to shift. It's your awareness that changes everything. As the minutes pass through this powerful midnight, you begin to feel lighter, not because something external changed, but because your inner energy did. You start forgiving yourself for what you didn't know before. You stop punishing yourself for past mistakes. You begin to understand that every pain was preparation, every delay was direction, every ending was a hidden beginning. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November carries the wisdom of cycles, that nothing truly ends, it transforms, that every loss only clears the space for something greater to arrive. In this hour, silence becomes your teacher. You realize that you've been surrounded by too much noise. From people, from thoughts, from expectations. You've been listening to everything except your own truth. But in the deep stillness of this midnight, that truth returns. It speaks softly at first, then louder, demanding to be lived. It tells you that peace is not found in controlling life, but in surrendering to its flow. It reminds you that strength is not in holding on, but in knowing when to let go. This is not the midnight of endings, it's the midnight of realignment. You are being pulled back to your center, to what's real, to what matters. You are being asked to simplify, not your schedule, but your soul, to stop fighting the currents and allow them to carry you where you are meant to go. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November brings this message clearly. Life becomes peaceful the moment you stop resisting it. The storms outside you calm the moment the storm inside you does. And so, as the clock moves deeper into this sacred hour, you begin to awaken, not in a sudden flash, but in a steady rising awareness. You feel your energy shifting from chaos to clarity, from confusion to calm. You no longer seek light outside. You begin to feel it within. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November teaches that darkness is not the absence of light. It's the place where light is born. Every silent minute of this hour is working within you, preparing you for what's next. When the night finally begins to fade and the first signs of dawn approach, something irreversible has changed. You carry a new stillness, a deeper understanding. You realize that no matter what happens outside, your strength lies within. The chaos of the world cannot shake you if you are grounded in awareness. The pain of the past cannot control you if you choose to learn from it. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November has shown you the truth, that you are not here to survive life, you are here to awaken within it. As this midnight closes, it leaves behind a gift, not visible but powerful, the gift of clarity. of renewal, of quiet strength. You have walked through the silence, faced your reflection, and seen what needed to be seen. Now you carry that wisdom forward. The night has ended, but its teaching remains, that every darkness holds light, every silence hides guidance, and every midnight like this one is not an ending at all, but the beginning of your rebirth. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November carries a strange, powerful silence, the kind that makes the soul restless, not because it's empty, but because it's full of meaning, full of reflection, full of unseen truths waiting to rise. This midnight is not here to comfort you. It's here to awaken you. It's not about calmness. It's about clarity. It's the hour where everything you've been avoiding comes to the surface. The truth about who you are, what you've become, and what still holds you back. During this hour, the noise of the world disappears, and for the first time, you can hear yourself. You can feel the weight you've been carrying, not on your shoulders, but in your spirit. You begin to see how many things you said yes to when your heart wanted to say no, how often you dimmed your light to fit into places that never deserved your energy. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November exposes this quietly. It shows you how much of your life has been shaped by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of being alone, and it whispers the truth. If you do not face what you fear, you will live your entire life inside it. This midnight is not the time for distractions. It is the time to sit with what hurts and to listen, to understand that pain is not your enemy. Pain is a messenger. It only stays until its message is received. The more you run from it, the longer it follows you. The moment you face it, truly face it, you start to heal. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November demands that honesty from you. It doesn't ask for perfection, only presence. It wants you to stop pretending that everything is fine when your soul knows it's not. There is something sacred about this night. It holds the energy of transformation, but transformation never happens in comfort. It happens in confrontation. It happens when you stop escaping into the noise, into screens, into people, into endless doing, and you finally sit in silence with yourself. The silence of this midnight is not empty. It's alive. It reveals what you've buried under layers of distraction. It shows you where you've lied to yourself, where you've settled for less, where you've abandoned your own truth. It's not meant to hurt you. It's meant to wake you up. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November reminds you that no change begins outside. You can't fix your life by rearranging the external world. You must begin within, because every chaos outside is only a reflection of what's unresolved inside. When you are uncentered, the world feels heavy. When you are aligned, even storms become teachers. So this midnight teaches you to return, not to the world, but to yourself, to reclaim your focus, your energy, your truth. There comes a point during this midnight where you begin to understand that letting go is not losing, it's cleansing, it's the act of creating space for what truly belongs to you. You cannot carry old pain and expect new peace. You cannot hold on to expired relationships, outdated beliefs, and unhealed wounds and still move freely. This night, whisper softly, release or remain stuck. Because the universe cannot fill a closed hand, the midnight of 1st and 2nd November asks you to open it, to let go of the stories you keep repeating, the self-doubt you keep feeding, the anger you keep justifying. It's not a punishment, it's a preparation. Transformation does not arrive in loud ways. It doesn't announce itself with lightning. It enters quietly, like this midnight, and begins to rearrange your inner world. It softens your rigidity. It breaks your illusions. It reminds you that growth is not about becoming more. It's about becoming real. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November strips away everything false so that only truth remains. And truth, when seen clearly, is not always gentle. It shakes you. It breaks you open. But in that breaking, something pure is born. Awareness. The beauty of this midnight is that it doesn't just end a day. It ends an old version of you. It's the symbolic death of everything that no longer serves your path. When the clock moves past 12, It's not just time passing, it's life evolving. And you, if you are aware, evolve with it. You step into a higher energy, a clearer understanding. You stop seeking validation. You stop comparing. You stop chasing things that drain your spirit. You start standing in silence, not because you're weak, but because you've found strength in peace. This midnight carries a powerful teaching. Healing and destruction often come together. To heal, something must first break: your ego, your attachments, your false beliefs. And this night holds both energies. It breaks and it builds. It destroys what no longer aligns with your truth and rebuilds your connection to your inner self. It teaches you that sometimes the most painful endings are simply disguised beginnings. As the night deepens, your awareness sharpens. You begin to see clearly the faces, the choices, the patterns. You begin to feel gratitude for the lessons that once felt like pain, because now you understand that every wound carried wisdom, every silence carried strength. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November doesn't just change your thoughts, it changes your vibration. It prepares you for the next phase, the next chapter, the next level of your becoming. When the first faint light of dawn appears, it doesn't just mark a new day, it marks a new you. You rise not as the person you were, but as the person you've been becoming all along. The silence of this midnight has done its work. It has realigned your energy, cleansed your focus, and reminded you of your truth. You walk forward lighter, clearer, stronger, because now you understand that healing is not something that happens to you, it's something that happens through you. The midnight of 1st and 2nd November leaves behind no noise, no chaos, no confusion, only a calm, deep awareness. It has served its purpose: to awaken, to purify, to prepare. What begins in darkness ends in light. What begins in silence ends in strength. And what begins in this midnight becomes the start of your rebirth.